Positive update on Teoscar Hernandez. The injury for Tommy Edman is worse than what was originally expected. Also, Clayton Kershaw made his second to last rehab start down in Arizona. When could we see him back? We got the exact day that we could see Clayton Kershaw back. Also, the bottom of the Dodgers lineup is causing problems. And how can you increase the production down there? And also, I'm taking all of your questions. It's Wednesday. That's Mailbag Wednesday, Q&LA. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You guys ready to parade? We got a parade! The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series! Tony starts the 50-50 club! Monkey magic! Freeman hits the ball, right field! She is gone! Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out. What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers show and podcast on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain, credentialed member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. We get a lot of people that watch this show every day that aren't subscribed. If you want to be eligible for our giveaways, authentic Dodgers jerseys, autographs, hats, t-shirts, if you want to be eligible, all you have to do is be sure that you're subscribed and that you have the notification bell on and that you comment down below. But we've got a jam-packed show today. We got updates down in Miami, the Dodgers Marlins series finale. First pitch in less than an hour. So we got lots to get into. So let's get it going. We got the leadoff.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
So the Dodgers lose last night in extra innings, 5-4 to the Marlins. They still have the best record in baseball at 24-12. They're a half game up of the San Diego Padres in the National League West. But the Dodgers are starting to suffer some injuries to key players, namely Teoscar Hernandez and Tommy Edman on the position player side right now. We're going to start with Teoscar Hernandez. So yesterday, Dave Roberts, he gave an update on Teoscar Hernandez before the game, and he revealed that it was an adductor. He talked about the groin, the hamstring, and he kind of painted a little more of a grim picture of when we could see Teoscar Hernandez back. But today is a little more positive, but this was yesterday, Dave Roberts talking about Teoscar Hernandez.
It was a grade 1 adductor. And so with Teo, he doesn't come out of baseball games. So put him on the IL. Obviously, he's going to be inactive for a while, and I don't really know a timetable. I think that's all contingent on when he starts back up again. But unfortunately, we're going to lose him for a little bit. He's had a huge impact. We brought James Outman. So James will be in center field today. Andy will slide over to right. I just think it's going to be more of a platoon base roster right now, and we'll kind of go from there. Yeah, I think just even today we've got Andy hitting second, where I sort of like him in the middle of the order to the middle bottom, and but he's without Teo, you're trying to balance out the lineup, and so a guy that can take professional bats, drive runs in. He's certainly going to be missed. Well, it's certainly weeks, but I just don't know how long. I mean, I really don't know. Yeah.
So that was him yesterday, and clearly he changed his tune today. Now, he said today, a couple of minutes ago down in Miami, that Teoscar Hernandez is already starting to feel better, and that he said that he could be back in as little as 2 weeks if he continues to progress well, if he continues to get the treatment that he needs. And look, this is definitely what you want to hear. I mean, because hearing him say for a while, that's a lot for Dave Roberts. Him for a while, that seems pretty significant. Now we go from for a while, which sounded like almost like a month. Ketel Marte had a similar injury, was out for a month. And now to hear him say a couple weeks, that's definitely very encouraging. And this Dodgers team, they need Teoscar Hernandez back. Teoscar Hernandez is the glue to this Dodgers offense. Yes, you have the MV3, but when you add Teoscar Hernandez, that's when they become the Mount Crushmore. You have him as your cleanup hitter, and he really is the run producer. So far this season, Teoscar Hernandez is having a better year this year than he did last season when he won the Silver Slugger and made the All-Star team and became the Dodgers' first ever home run derby champion. This year, he's hitting .315. He's slugging .600. That's a career high. Has a 157 weighted runs created plus. So he's 57% above league average. Last year when he was great, he was a 34% above league average player. Also has 9 home runs. When he went out, he was leading the league with 34 RBIs. This guy is absolutely pivotal to this team's success. And with him out, you see the difference in the Dodgers lineup, because yesterday is a game where you really like the Dodgers offense going up against a Marlins team with Cal Quantrill, and you've got Tony Gonsolin on the mound. And yes, you did get the home run from Shohei Ohtani. You got the home run from Freddie Freeman, but it did feel like you were missing Teoscar Hernandez in that lineup, because what Teoscar Hernandez brings is he brings clutch hitting. And when he's not in that lineup, it's certainly felt by the Dodgers. And look, it's a good opportunity for Will Smith, I think, to kind of step up into a role where we thought he was going to be the permanent cleanup hitter. I'll tell you this, before Teoscar Hernandez ever had his first game with the Dodgers, I remember spring training 2 years ago, I asked Dave Roberts and said, hey, Teoscar Hernandez has had a lot of success batting cleanup. Do you see him as the cleanup hitter? You look at his numbers and the way he rakes against lefties, feels like he's a perfect cleanup hitter for this lineup. And Dave told me that Will Smith was going to be the cleanup hitter, and that he kind of pushed back on the idea of Teo being the cleanup hitter, and he said he was more of a middle of the lineup type of guy. And I'm sitting there kind of thinking, hey, this guy Teo is next level at that spot. And I think now we know he is that permanent guy that you want to see in that role. I mean, you look at him this season with runners in scoring position, Teoscar Hernandez is 17 for 38, 447 batting average. 447 batting average. I mean, that is incredible clutch factor. A 1266 OPS with runners in scoring position. I mean, that is incredible production. He's more clutch than 20-ounce white cherry Gatorade after playing 3 hours of pickup basketball on a sunny day. That's how clutch Teoscar Hernandez is. And yesterday, this Dodgers lineup, you got Shohei Ohtani, who goes 2 for 5, 2 hits, the home run and 2 RBIs. Freddie Freeman goes 2 for 4. Will Smith did go 2 for 5, and he hit into a double play in a pivotal spot later in the game. But outside of that, just look at that production. Muncy 0 for 2, Conforto 0 for 3, Rojas 0 for 3, Betts 0 for 1 on the pinch hit, James Outman 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, and Ha-Seong Kim, he did get a base hit, goes 1 for 4, but then he also got picked off with Shohei Ohtani at the plate. So you got to get it back as soon as possible. It's going to be pivotal. And yes, Shohei Ohtani is doing what I thought he would do, and that's going to tear. I said he'd hit 2 home runs this series. He got 2 home runs this series, but I was hoping to see them both in the same game. And oddly enough, with all of the narratives that, oh, maybe he's kind of dropped off a little bit so far this season just because of the surgery and ramping up as a pitcher, Shohei Ohtani on May 6th last season, he had 11 home runs and 9 stolen bases. Shohei Ohtani on May 6th this season had 10 home runs and 10 stolen bases. So all the numbers are almost identical to last year's production. He absolutely owns the Marlins, so not worried about Shohei. What I am worried about, though, is the bottom of this Dodgers lineup. And it's not just Teoscar Hernandez that they're missing. It's also Tommy Edman. So the update on Tommy Edman is not as positive as the update on Teoscar Hernandez. So Tommy Edman was eligible to come back off the IL this Saturday against the Diamondbacks in Arizona, the 3rd game of a 4-game series, but Dave Roberts said that it's, quote, unlikely that he's going to be ready to come back from the ankle injury this weekend, as was the original plan. So the original hope was that he was going to be ready to come back this weekend and re-enter this Dodgers lineup and go back to center field, go back to second base, do what he does, Tommy Tanks, but it's not responding, and it's just kind of slow moving. Those are Dave Roberts' words on Tommy Edman. It's not responding, it's just kind of slow moving. So ankle injuries are tricky. He stretched a tendon in that ankle on a slide last week. So the good news is he has been able to continue hitting in the cage, but when he tries to run, it doesn't feel comfortable. He feels discomfort when he tries to run. So they're going to err on the side of caution. They're not going to rush things with him. And look, I mean, is this concerning? I wouldn't say it's overly concerning. I think that it would get concerning if he doesn't come back next week. So if you look at the Dodgers schedule, you got the 19 games in 20 days. You're on a 10-game stretch right now of road games, but at least you do have an off day on Monday, and then you come home and you play the A's starting next week. So the hope for me is he's out for the rest of this series, of course. He's out for the Diamondback series. You got the Monday off day, and then you see Tommy Tanks back on Tuesday in the lineup against the Oakland A's, because he's another guy. Him and Teoscar Hernandez have been so crucial to start this season, with Mookie Betts kind of getting off to a slow start, gaining his weight back. He lost 20 pounds with the stomach flu issue early on. Freddie Freeman missed 11 games. Shohei Ohtani getting back in the swing of things, coming off that labrum surgery. Tommy Edman and Teoscar Hernandez, they put this team on their back, and I think that you're starting to feel the effects of that early on. So hopefully this is not something that's too serious. Hopefully this is something that you get taken care of and you're not overly concerned about it, and he's just back on the mend and back on the field by next week. But if it goes past next week, that's when I'm going to start having my concerns. Now, some roster stuff. It was reported this morning by Jack Harris of the LA Times that Matt Sauer, the Dodgers pitcher who got his first win of his career last week, that he's with the Dodgers in Miami today, but is not being activated. And Dave Roberts said they're monitoring the health of a few guys in the bullpen, so Sauer is here on the taxi squad as insurance. That's from Jack Harris of the LA Times. Great reporter. And the takeaway there is, look, I mean, with Matt Sauer, you're just looking at a guy to fill a role if someone goes down. Matt Sauer was supposed to start for Oklahoma City tonight, and he didn't. So that's not going to be the case, and he's in Miami. And we'll see which pitcher they're talking about. You can only speculate. My guess would be maybe it's Luis Garcia, right? 38-year-old that's kind of getting a lot of work in. Maybe it's another reliever. Who knows, right? I mean, you don't want to completely speculate, but the fact is he's not there to make that roster move just yet. He is there as a taxi squad guy in the event that someone has to go down with an injury. So right now, could they make the move? Possibly. It feels like the Dodgers kind of feel like something could be up, whether it's serious, whether it's something minor, whether it's just arm fatigue. I think that is kind of more of where that is. I don't think it's an injury to a starter, something significant, a high leverage guy. I doubt it's that case. I mean, Kirby Yates is a guy that's on the older side too. He's pitched a lot. Could it be him? I don't want to speculate too much, but the fact is, when you look at the Dodgers bullpen right now, like I said, they have been worked harder than a Panda Express employee during a Dodgers win streak. They lead all of Major League Baseball with 151 in the third innings pitched. They're averaging 4.2 innings per game out of the pen. And the good news right now is after the Tyler Glasnow injury, it felt like, oh no, what is going to happen with these innings? Who's going to fill these innings in the event that they get a starter that has a short start? The good news is these guys have gutted through at least 5 or 6 innings per start in 7 of the 8 games since Tyler Glasnow left the rotation. And the only time that they didn't get those 5 innings, it was Ben Kasparius, and he went 4 innings as he's bulking up, as they're stretching him out in a role that could be expanded upon. So for the most part, the starters have done a really nice job, averaging 5.25 innings per start in the last 8 Dodgers games. You have a sub-4 ERA there. So the starters really have kind of knuckled down and done their part and really have been impressive. And it's just about, hey, you have to kind of stretch this out before you get any word on Glasnow and Blake Snell. And you just kind of look at the Dodgers bullpen. You're just kind of really just trying to survive this 10-game straight stretch, this 19 of 20 game stretch. Anthony Bonda, Alex Vesia, and Luis Garcia, they've all thrown in 3 of the Dodgers' last 4 games. Both, I would say probably all of them won't see the ball tonight. I think all of them are going to be unavailable tonight. You haven't had a Dodgers pitcher throw in 4 consecutive games in a 5-game span all year, so it's highly doubtful that you'll see any of those guys tonight in Miami. Then Tanner Scott, he's pitched the last 2 games. He's probably going to be out too, I'm guessing, just because, hey, he's someone that is high leverage, big money, and you haven't seen a Dodgers reliever go 3 straight like that for Tanner Scott. So he's most likely going to be out there. And then you got Evan Phillips. So Evan Phillips is a guy who I assume you're going to see tonight. I assume Evan Phillips will get the ball late in a high leverage spot, depending on the score of the game. Evan Phillips, the fireman Phillips, is going to get those opportunities. Kirby Yates, another guy that's pitched a lot. He's gone 3 of the last 4 too, but he did not pitch yesterday, so you could see Kirby Yates. Jack Dreyer, he pitched on Sunday and Monday, but also didn't pitch Tuesday. We'll see if he's an option. But really, who knows fault this is, right? I hate to put this guy on blast. I hate to call this guy out, but it's Yoendrys Gomez. I mean, he was supposed to go out there. He had a 6-run lead, and all he had to do was get 6 outs with a 6-run lead, and he was only able to get 1 out. He gave up a 3-run home run, and the Dodgers, they had to go to Tanner Scott, Evan Phillips to close things out. And Evan Phillips has been really good since he's been back for sure. But yeah, that just was not the best thing for this bullpen. He kind of, hey man, you kind of ruined things for the group, right? And all these guys are kind of have to work overtime because of that. And then you saw kind of move they made. They DFA him, and then JP Fireeisen came up. They used him, and unfortunately for JP Fireeisen, he gave up a walk-off hit in extra innings, which is tough for sure. But that's the state of the bullpen right now, the state of the pitching staff right now. And before we get to the break, and I'm going to take your questions next on QNLA Mailbag Wednesday, Clayton Kershaw, he is getting closer and closer to a return. He made his 4th rehab start, and it wasn't down in AAA, wasn't down in AA. It was in the backfields at Camelback Ranch. The backfields at Camelback Ranch, and he pitched well. He pitched really, really well. He went 6 scoreless against the Reds Arizona Complex League team. So you're talking about a lot of young guys, 18, 19-year-olds, down at Camelback Ranch on Tuesday, and he had 4 strikeouts. He had 1 walk. After the walk, he did get a double play, a pitcher's best friend there in the 2nd inning. So he did face the minimum 18 batters on Tuesday, and it was really cool to see just him in that setting. It's a really cool shot of Kershaw down there, kind of going against a minor leaguer, 18, 19 years old, striking him out with the curveball. It was a really cool shot of him going up against the Reds' 19-year-old prospect, Nelson Buten. He struck him out. And then, look, he's on the mend. He's ready to roll. It's just about getting that left toe at 100% so you can get those extra ticks of velocity. Dave has already said that the arm feels good. Clayton Kershaw has already said the arm feels better than the toe. It's just getting that toe right so he can push off and get up to 90, 92 miles per hour. But now he's stretched up to 60. Now he's stretched up to 6 innings. And you look at just his progression. He had 2 3-inning starts for AAA Oklahoma City, and Double-A Tulsa. He faced one batter in the fourth inning in his second start there. And then he went 5 innings on last Wednesday in Oklahoma City. Now he's up to 6 innings. So he's in a really good spot. And when will you see Clayton Kershaw back? Look, the soonest he can come back and get activated off the IL, the 60-day injury list, is Saturday, May 17th. But where the Dodgers sit, you're probably going to see him back on May 18th against the Angels, a 1-10 start. Because the Dodgers, you look at their spot in the rotation, they need an arm right there in that spot. So that's where it's going to be. I've been asked a lot about Don Rushy and Alex Freeland. Remember, with the roster spots, you had an open spot after you had the DFA of Gomez. And look, Rosario was DFA'd a little while ago too. You had some open roster spots. Remember, you need 2 roster spots. One for Clayton Kershaw to be added at 40-man, then activated at 26, and then one for Michael Kopech, who should be back towards the end of this month or in early June. So the GOAT is coming back. Where are my Christians at? Where are the believers of Christianity? Clayton Kershaw is nearing a return, and that's definitely very, very promising. So great to see him really having no setbacks. And look, what it's all about for Clayton Kershaw at this point, guys, I've said this before, I'll say this again. Come back, give me 10-plus starts, get 32 strikeouts, join the 3,000 strikeout club, give me some quality starts, possibly in the postseason. If the arm is fresh, something just tells me that the way the universe is, that Clayton Kershaw somehow, some way will have some role for this team in the playoffs. And then you win a World Series, and then you hang him up and you go right off into the sunset as a World Series champion. I want to see him get the final out against the Trastros in the World Series. Wouldn't that be awesome? But all right, guys, coming up next, QNLA Dodgers Nation mailbag, answering all your questions. Got some from YouTube, got some from Discord. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live. And welcome back to Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers show and podcast on YouTube. We are closing in on first pitch down in Miami. Landon Knack on the bump for the Dodgers. A 1:40 LA time first pitch. Landon Knack going up against Valente Belozo. Knack a 7.27 ERA, 17.3 whip, 8 2/3 innings, giving up 9 hits, 7 strikeouts to 6 walks, giving up a home run. Belozo, a 4.97 ERA, a 1.66 whip. So that is coming up shortly here. And the Dodgers lineup is out for the day. Shohei Ohtani batting leadoff. Mookie Betts, after a scheduled day off yesterday, is back at shortstop, batting second. Freddie Freeman at first, batting third. Andy Pages hitting cleanup. So Andy Pages hitting cleanup with Will Smith getting the day off. Max Muncy batting fifth at third. Michael Conforto in left sixth. Kike Hernandez gets the start at second. He's batting seventh. And then Hesson Kim, his first start in center field, he's batting eighth. And Austin Barnes behind the dish batting ninth. So if you look at the Dodgers versus Belozo, no one has faced them in their career. So it's going to be a complete unknown. But how about that? Hesson Kim playing down in center field. So that will bring me to our next segment. And it's Wednesday. That's Dodgers Nation Mailbag Day.
Q&LA Dodgers Dugout Mailbag.
All right, so fitting transition. This is from Dribble205 over on YouTube. How good do you think Hesson Kim will be? I think Hesson Kim has the potential to be an above-average big leaguer. And if you're an above-average big leaguer and you play a premium position like shortstop, you can help this team. I like what I've seen so far with the swing 3 hits in his first 2 games. The base running, I think he's the most electrifying base runner since Trey Turner. Yes, Shohei's great, 59 stolen bases, and he's absolutely electric on the base paths himself. But I think with Kim, you got that top-end electric speed, and I do think that he's going to find a way to get that bat to translate. I think that he's already made some swing adjustments, and you see a flatter bat path through the zone that allows him to catch up to high-velocity fastballs up in the zone. And yes, they're going to adjust to him. They're going to find his weak spots, and it's on him to adjust. But there's something about this kid that just screams a little special, right? And at $12.5 million, that is a very high-value contract if he's above average. But I think you can count on above-average defense. I mean, you saw yesterday him get to a ball that should have got into the outfield, and he makes a stop on it. You saw him make a flip to Freddie Freeman in his first game as a starter, and Freddie kind of just wasn't ready for it. But, I mean, you see some highlight plays in him, and just the way he can run the bases, just about getting him on base. I think Shohei Ohtani loves him. I think he loves the fact that you have someone that can get on base and be that second leadoff hitter, hopefully, and give him an RBI opportunity. That would be absolutely huge. Let's see some more questions down below. Anything that got, drop it for sure. And we've got this from Joe Megazzeni. D-Mac, what is wrong with the bottom of the lineup? Just how bad is it? So it's interesting. You look at the bottom of the Dodgers lineup, and it's a lot of guys that you just expect more from, right? You expect Max Muncy to be a league average player. He hasn't been so far at the plate. You expect Michael Conforto to be a league average player at the plate. He hasn't done that so far yet. And the good thing is Andy Pages, he's figured something out. He's provided some power. But now that you see where Andy Pages is at for this team, he's batting higher in the lineup with Teoscar Hernandez out. So he's batting 4th today. He was batting 2nd yesterday. So he's clearly climbing up Dave Roberts' lineup trust tree, and you just need guys down in that part of the order to start getting on base with a little more consistency, because you just can't live that way for an entire year and expect the top 3, the MV3, to carry the lineup. I mean, you look at this season, the 6th batter for the Dodgers is hitting 208. The 5th batter in the lineup in 36 games, batting 192. 7th, 185. 8th, 184. 9th is 264. But none of those batters from 5 through 9 have a batting average of an OPS above 707. They just have not gotten the production. You compare that to 1 through 4, leadoff 1,013 OPS. 2-hole, 786 OPS, and that's because Mookie's gone off to a slow start. 3-hole, an 1,100 OPS. Cleanup, a 1,000 OPS. So outside of that top 4, it's a massive drop-off, and you're just not seeing enough opportunities with runners in scoring position. Now, you probably look at how the Dodgers have fared with runners on scoring position and ducks on the pond. You probably say to yourself, wait a second, D-Mac. The Dodgers have an 892 OPS with runners in scoring position. That leads all of Major League Baseball. What are you talking about? They're great with runners in scoring position. You say, wait, D-Mac, let's go batting average. They're hitting 290 with RISP this year. That's tied with the Giants for the best in baseball. But then you look deeper into it, and then you look at how many at-bats the Dodgers have had with runners in scoring position, and then it gets more interesting. The Dodgers have had 290 at-bats this season with runners in scoring position. That ranks 20th out of 30 teams in Major League Baseball. That's not going to get it done. That's not going to give this offense what they need. And to give Shohei and Mookie and Freddie more opportunities, the bottom of the lineup has to produce more. They have to produce more. I mean, look at this team last season. This team last season, you were towards the top with the runners in scoring position. You were actually 6th at a 790 OPS, right? Which is less than this year, but the difference between last year's offense and this year's offense with RISP is this year's offense has the 20th most at-bats with runners in scoring position. Last year, they had the 3rd most at-bats. So there's more traffic on the base path. There's more opportunities. You're not seeing that yet. So really, there's not a ton of options. I mean, I'll go to my next question here. over on YouTube. And that question comes from That question comes from ZenMaster619, who asked about Dalton Rushing. No, that's actually from CRV Country. Hey, D-Mac, is there any rule or reason for not bringing up Dalton Rushing? If he's playing outfield, could he be a solution if Michael Conforto does not work out? Thanks. He could, but not right now. Because right now, he's not on the 40-man roster. And because he's not on the 40-man roster, you would have to move some things around, and you still need those spots for Michael Kopech and Clayton Kershaw. He still needs more seasoning in left field. But I think Dalton Rushing is more of a down-the-line option for the Dodgers. Whether that be a September call-up and he makes the postseason roster. I've been saying it before. I'll say it again. I think he finds a way on this postseason roster. He's a 300-plus hitter down in AAA, a special hitter. Now, if they have a slew of injuries and Michael Conforto just falls off the face of the earth and they either move him to the bench or they DFA him or something like that, then possibly he can be an option. But I think that with Kim playing the way he is, when Edman comes back, I think you want to see possibly Kim at second, Edman in center, Pages in left, and then Teoscar in right. And you put that combination together, and then right now there's not a spot for Dalton Rushing. But as far as the rule, the reason, they need to give him consistent at-bats. And that's really the number one thing, is they don't want to bring him up here and not give him consistent at-bats. I think next season, he's the backup catcher for Will Smith, and then possibly we can see him in a little bit of a flex role if left field works out for him, and he's going to get his time and his opportunity to be a part of this team on a regular basis. But right now, you can't take away those regular at-bats. We've got ZenMaster619 who asks, will Ohtani pitch in the postseason? Everything is trending in the right direction for Shohei Ohtani. He threw 95 miles per hour in his last bullpen session. He threw 35 pitches. What you need to see from Shohei, he's got to start throwing sliders. He's got to do some up downs. He's got to face hitters. I certainly 100% that he has to pitch in the postseason. I think that for this team, based on the injury history that they've had for the last couple of seasons, I don't think it's going to be a luxury. I think it's going to be a necessity that Shohei Ohtani pitches for this team in the postseason, and that's why they're slow to ramp him up. Because with the Angels were 1-2-3 Cancun in August. They didn't sniff October. And the way they're managing Shohei is to give him enough starts to ramp up in the regular season, and when the postseason comes and rolls around, he'll be ready to go. So I do 100% think he's going to be ready to roll for the postseason, barring any setbacks, and that is the plan. ZenMaster619 also asked, will Yamamoto win the Cy Young? If he pitches like he is now, absolutely, Yamamoto is going to win the Cy Young. I mean, he's got the best pitcher on the best team thing going for him. That narrative always matters. Also, he's just incredible. I mean, he's just great. I mean, you look at where he stacks up right now, and it's still early. It's still relatively early. But in the National League, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, he leads the NL with a .9 ERA. Who's the next closest? Jesus Luzardo at 1.94. That's how out in front Yamamoto is. If you look at just the overall production, I mean, he's top 3 in everything. Top 3 in F-WAR. You look at innings pitched. He's definitely been a workhorse for this team. So, yeah, absolutely. If the season ended today, Yoshinobu Yamamoto would become the first Japanese pitcher ever to win a Cy Young. He's already said that it means something to him. So I like that. The fact that he's making it very clear that not only does he want the Cy Young, that he's going for that thing. And I think that's he's on a mission this season. Yamamoto's on a mission. Yamania is here. Miss Turthy over on YouTube says, is Munetaka Murakami a target for the Dodgers next year? So being in Tokyo, talking to some of the Japanese insiders, I was kind of told that the Yankees were going to be a tough team to beat for him. I think for the Dodgers, though, it all depends on how they view him, right? If they truly think that he can be a third baseman defensively, then they'll get into the mix with him. But there is some questions about if he's a long-term third baseman or if he's going to be a first baseman or a designated hitter. And we know that that DH spot is being held down by a guy named Shohei Ohtani, and then first base is being held down by a future first ballot Hall of Famer when it's all said and done in Fredericks of Hollywood, Freddie Freeman. And then beyond Freddie Freeman, who knows? Does Will Smith go to first base? I mean, there's going to be some other options. Teoscar Hernandez is on a 3-year deal, but I mean, he'll probably want to be a DH after he's gone from the Dodgers, or do the Dodgers look to bring him back, right? So that's the big question for him is, do they think that he can play third on a regular basis? Max Muncy has a club option at $10, $12 million, and they have to kind of decide if they want to move on from Muncy or not. I mean, if they do, then that opens up third base for sure. So, look, you got Alex Freeland down there as a possibility too, but yeah, Muncy has a $10 million club option, so that's another kind of domino in that. But like I said, it's all going to come down. If the Dodgers think he can play third, then they'll consider it. If he's going to be a first baseman, I think the answer is no. If he's a DH, the answer is definitely no. So that's kind of where they're at with that one. Muse 1795, will Conforto make it through the whole season? Wow. Look, you guys have to give me credit. I'm owning up to the fact that I said Conforto was going to be an all-star. Don't make me list all the things that I've been right on. Okay, don't make me list that. I mean, don't make me list all the things that I've been right on, because I will take an L when I'm wrong. And is he going to be an all-star? No, but he's going to finish the season. I mean, the Dodgers have paid him $17 million. It's a little bit of a sunk cost fallacy with that, right? Where you invested something in him, so you want to see what he can bring. And look, he's just not hitting the ball hard. He's not hitting the ball with enough consistency. But having said this, everyone wanted Gavin Lux gone last year, and then he was hot in the second half. Everyone wanted Kike gone. He was hot in the second half. Just take this year. Everyone wanted Andy Pages gone, and he's been one of the best hitters on the team. There's no reason to think that Michael Conforto can, at the very least, turn around to become a respectable hitter, right? That helps this team. I think right now, if I had to handicap it, because the Dodgers' willingness to move off of one-year guys that we've seen, whether it be Jason Hayward last year, whether it be Noah Syndergaard, whether that be James Paxton, even after he helped them, they're not afraid to go off a guy on a one-year deal. So, look, if he is a above-average hitter in the next couple of months towards the All-Star break, I would say the odds are really good because he's a veteran. And, look, you do need some depth on the bench, too. I mean, you could even use him in that role as a potential, too, if you go off of Chris Taylor at some point. So let's not forget that. So I would give it I would still give it like a 70. I'll probably give it like a 68% chance. He is. Abel says, "Kun O for Forto." Oh, come on now. Come on, that's cold, Abel A. Kun O for Forto is not cool, man. You guys, man, you guys are next level, man. You guys, I don't think I've ever done one of these shows where I didn't genuinely laugh based on the commenters. You guys are stand-up comedy legends, man. I love you guys. But next one, this is from Ninja Squirrel 30. You're on the trade committee with the trade deadline inbound this season. Who would you be using as an asset in trade? So this is really, really interesting. Now, obviously, it's an extremely nuanced answer because, one, we just don't know the needs that the Dodgers have right now. We don't know if Blake Snell is going to come back and pitch like a Cy Young, if Tyler Glasnow is going to come back and pitch like an ace, if they're going to lose any of the existing pitchers. But if, excuse me, guys, but if you did need to go out there and for whatever reason get an ace and get a frontline starter, then it really kind of depends. I think that like a guy like Josue DePaula is someone that I would consider trading. Dustin May and Tony Gonsolin are really solid. Dustin May is on an expiring contract. He's going to be a free agent after this year. This is his last year of team control. Tony Gonsolin has that deal where he signed a contract to buy out some of his arbitration years. And I think Gonsolin's been really good. 9 strikeouts his first game back, 8 strikeouts yesterday with 18 swings and misses. I really like Tony Gonsolin. But Tony Gonsolin could be interesting for another team. Bobby Miller could be interesting for another team. I mean, you look at kind of the Dodgers roster and guys that they would have as trade chips. I mean, I think at this point, you got to keep Andy Pages. You got to keep You got to keep Hassan Kim. And the thing with James Outman is you're hoping at the very least that if he comes up and gets the opportunity, it might increase his trade value, and then you could trade him to a team where he gets a better opportunity. I want to see James Outman get 500 plate appearances a season and have him develop at this big league level. Maybe that's not with the Dodgers. And Bob Nightingale did tell me that the White Sox were intrigued by James Outman as a change of scenery. So that's a possibility as well. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of the guys on this team are pretty much either locked in or they're veterans. And as far as the minor league guys, I think Jackson Ferris is a guy that I want to keep my hands on because of his potential. Zaire Hope, I'm not trading. Zaire Hope could be a top 5 prospect one day. And Dalton Rushing, I think he just feels, looks, sounds, carries himself like a future Dodgers star. And I think he's got a role on this team if he can play some left and play some backup catcher and just kind of evolve as a hitter. So outside of that, though, if you're going big, I'm all in on the 2025 Dodgers. So that kind of depends largely on how the roster looks at that point for sure. We got NS. Sadly, his bruh meme still lives here. I'm working on a new bruh, guys. Send me some clips for the new bruh. I'm gonna give this to you, NS. You get the bruh right now. Where's my here we go. Where's my bruh for NS? You got to get it here. There you go.
Bruh.
Double bruh.
Bruh.
All right. So that was this week's QNLA. If you guys want to submit a question for next week's mailbag, go on YouTube to the comments section, drop one down below. But also the best way is to go on Discord. If you go on our Discord channel, that's where you can join the Insider program, a lot of VIP access stuff there, merch, behind-the-scenes content, all that cool stuff. And then you also get just direct access, but also even in the normal discount, if you go to the normal Discord, you can submit a question there. Because I just, look, man, for that, it's the more the merrier. I want to get all you guys questions. But coming up, now it's your turn, chat. Let's hit the 7th inning stretch.
The 7th inning stretch.
All right, we got Mixie, Felix, Conforto needs to miss leg day. I don't know. Does Freeman close out his career in Atlanta? I hope not. I really don't. I mean, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see him go back to Atlanta. I want to see him finish his career with the Dodgers. Look, I mean, kind of listening to his family talk about how big it is for him to be in this organization. I think he loves it here. And I didn't realize just watching a recent episode of Backstage Dodgers that his dad, who is a big part of his success, and I love this. Freddie Freeman's dad, if you guys don't know, he would, Mr. Fred Freeman, he would, on his lunch break, he would go and feed balls to Freddie Freeman to do hitting practice. And that he wasn't thinking about his son becoming the best player in the history of the world or anything like that, or becoming an all-star, a superstar, and all that stuff that some parents, quite frankly, hope that their kid with travel ball is a ticket to a college scholarship and that stuff. Fred Freeman just wanted Freddie Freeman to have friends. That was the impetus and the inspiration for having him go out there and become a better baseball player. And Fred Freeman said recently on Backstage Dodgers, the one I was watching, that they didn't really get out to Atlanta that much. Like, they didn't go to Atlanta that much to watch him play. With him back in California where he grew up, his dad's there all the time. So I think that with his sons growing up and his sons loving the Dodgers, Charlie and the gang, his family being there, Fred Freeman and the rest of his family, I think that he's going to retire a Dodger. And I've called him baseball's version of fine wine. I don't think that he's slowing down anytime soon. I think that you probably got to get him back for a couple of years after this deal ends, even if he's close to 40. He's that good. I mean, just one of the best pure hitters I've ever seen. We got Beer Song, Michael Conforto. No. Hey, guys, usually when people start hating on the guy, he starts to turn it around. So maybe this will reverse jinx him. Nando, what's up, Nando? George Conforto, no bueno. You guys are just going crazy today, man. You guys are just losing your mind. This is a bruh for everyone. This is a bruh for everyone. Honestly, I'll include myself in that one too.
Bruh.
Maybe even to finish him.
Finish him.
All right, D-Mac sneeze was 2020. So, wait, what? I don't even get. I honestly have no idea what that even meant, Nando. My sneeze was 2020 sus. Jose Aguirre, I said Outman was going to strike out his first at bat. Could have won $100 from Jose Aguirre. Nando, 390 Muncie got glasses. Oh, come on now. Hey, let's give Max Muncie a little time. He does have those glasses. Did go to Kike Hernandez's optometrist with the stigmatism, but a couple more here. We got Alex says DMAC Conforto was a bust. Yes, but in the last 2 years, we got Teo and Tommy Tanks. What are the clown crybabies going to say about that? Yeah, I mean, you're not going to hit on every free agent. You're not going to hit on every trade. And look, I mean, I've seen people say, oh, they signed Blake Snell, who hasn't pitched much, a couple starts, and Glass now hasn't been that guy. Yeah, you also got Yamamoto, who's the best pitcher in the National League and the best pitcher in baseball, arguably. So, yeah, you're not going to hit on everyone, so I like that you bring that up. We've got Mr. Classic. Have a great lunch, y'all. Yeah, guys, what are you guys having for lunch? You guys know what I'm having. Take a guess. Joe Mama D-Mac, been saying that for a month now. Are you talking about Conforto? Yeah, we got Conforto should be our bruh. That's from Bilal K. BC LMAO delusional. He's never going to go to get back to that for sure. We've got JSR. Freeman is going into the Hall of with the Braves hat already. Sucks, but it's true. I totally disagree. JSR in the chat says Freddie Freeman is going into the Hall with a Braves hat already. Sucks, but it's true. Now, I could spend a whole episode breaking down how his last 3 years with the Dodgers were as good, if not better, than his best years with the Braves. But the truth of the matter is I think at the very least at this point, he's going into the Hall of Fame with a blank hat, with no logo. There's no way he would do that to Dodgers fans. No way Freddie Freeman, who's going to live out his life in Southern California, is going to drive around this town knowing that he went into the Hall of Fame as an Atlanta Brave after having a moment that literally changed your life, my life, and Dodgers fans' lives forever. No way, no how, zero chance Freddie Freeman goes into the Hall of Fame as a Brave. Could not disagree more. Respectfully, I think that there's a chance he goes in as a Dodger, and I think there's at the very least, it's just a blank hat. That's where I'm at on Freddie Freeman, for sure. Martin Troop says he'll retire as a Dodger. We got Bilal K. We've been hating him all season so far. That's for D-Mac wear glasses. Okay, I don't know, D-Mac. And Friedman, I trust. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you're not going to bat 1,000, right? This is baseball. You're 3 out of 10, you're a Hall of Famer. But the Dodgers are much better than that when it comes to their hits or misses. 2N Vader says, Michael Confort, bruh. Come on. Tortas for D-Mac. LOL. Yep, exactly, Carmen. You know what's for lunch for me. You know what I'm like. Michael Contorta. Okay, let's wish that Contorta turns around. I want to see a heater from him just so we can have to all own up to it. You guys can have to all own up to it if he turns things around. But okay, guys, now we got 10 minutes before first pitch. Landon Knack on the mound for your Los Angeles Dodgers. But before we get out of here, it is time for the walk-off.
The walk-off.
And today for the walk-off, let's do a little this day in Dodgers history. Today in 1959, the Dodgers honored Roy Campanella. Over 93,000 fans packed the LA Coliseum for an exhibition game versus the New York Yankees to honor the future Hall of Fame catcher who was paralyzed in a car accident right before the 1958 season. It's definitely one of those moments where if you had a time machine and you're going to go to a bunch of games in the past and just experience a special moment in Dodger history, it would be May 7th, 1959, LA Coliseum. On the ticket, it said, I was there the night they honored Campy, and it was the Yankees in town, and it was definitely a special night at the Coliseum. Here's a moment that will go down in Dodgers lore forever. So the great Vin Scully, and if you don't know the story, Roy Campanella in the offseason, he had a store. It was a liquor store, Choice Wines and Liquors. It stood on the corner of 7th and 134th in Harlem. And Campanella, he was driving home at 1:30 in the morning. It was January 28, 1958. He was driving a Chevy. He hit a patch of ice, and then he skidded off the road. He was paralyzed below the shoulders. His upper arms were capable of only the slightest movements. and he struggled, and his playing career was over. He did live for 35 more years after the accident, and he was a part of the Dodgers organization for a long time. But, yeah, what a moment there at the Coliseum honoring the great Roy Campanella. I mean, you look at Dodgers history and some of their great players, and Roy Campanella is one of those guys where, I mean, he clearly would have been one of your favorite Dodgers right now. I mean, this guy was an absolute dominant player. He was an 8-time All-Star, 3-time NL MVP, won the MVP in 51, 53, and 55. He was behind the dish when the Dodgers won their first championship against the Yankees. They had lost to the Pinstripes 5 times in a row before winning that first World Series. But that is this day in Dodgers history. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. If you want to do me the biggest favor, you want to support the channel, hit that like button. Also, join the Discord and also join my new channel, The Big Lead. It's the hottest stories in sports in less than an hour. We're giving away a Lakers jersey over there. You can find it at The Big Lead 1. We'd really appreciate that. But that is going to do it. Enjoy the game. Dodgers, Marlins. Get that series dub with Landon Knack on the mound. And remember that nothing, absolutely nothing, brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I...
Sandy into his windup. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed a perfect game.